Okay, there it goes. I'm so sorry for the wait. Freaking YouTube. Like, I was trying to make a thing for video to go live stream on YouTube as well, but for some reason it kept connecting to the videos I already had saved. So I went through my Sword Art Online one and the one I planned on doing for the podcast next month. So I gotta go back later and recreate those waiting rooms, and then delete like those VODs, cause that's not what I was trying. I don't know why it was connecting to them like that. I literally had to go in, fix it, like, and then, but I think I should be up on YouTube now with the name of what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'll just have to go back and recreate those two. But hello, hello. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. I know this is probably really random to me, but just some unfortunate things happened, and I figured, you know what, I'm not gonna get sad. I'm just gonna persevere. So at the moment I am in between jobs, so while I'm doing that, I'll also be streaming at least every day for this week and maybe next week, depending on how. So at least that's something that you guys can look forward to. So there'll be a video every week, every day this week, until I can get everything sorted out. But I'm not here to talk about that. I figured, jump in and let's, talk or do something. But I didn't really know what to do. So, let me turn this on. I thought we'd do another tier list. But this time, is it showing? There it goes. I'll be doing a Shounen Anime tier list. Now, when I first originally went to it, it didn't have, pardon me, a lot of the Shounen Anime. Like, it only stopped, if I remember correctly, it stopped somewhere around after, like, Naruto? OG Naruto? So I was like, hold up. There was, like, so many other shonen animes. And then I do see there's an option here where you can add, pictures and you can add extra pictures to the tier list you plan on working on. That's probably what I should have done with the other tier list I did, the waifu one. But there were so many waifus that were missing. I mean, I'm sure other people have made like multiple ones with like hundreds of them. But I figured I ain't really got time to be going through all this, like going through to find the one that had like a good amount of people. So I literally went through myanimelist.com and went through the shonen anime and just picked out a few, so that way we can make the list a little bit longer. So here is the tier. There's excellent, good, very good, fine, average, acceptable, and then there is just straight trash. So I figure let's just start. And if this takes, because it's not long, but we'll see how long this goes, and maybe we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do a quiz or two. Just so this is not like a short video, especially after all the work I had to create the VOD on freaking YouTube. But yep, so I figured let's start with the very first one, which is Blue Exorcist. I did enjoy this anime. I watched it when it originally came out, then it went through its whole hiatus, and then season 2, then we got season 3, and now we are getting like, I guess, I'm not sure if this is like quote unquote season 4, or maybe it's supposed to be like a season 3 part 2, but then again I think that's supposed to be split in like 2 parts, so I think the next season coming up is supposed to be a season 4, but then it's split between like 2 major arcs that they'll be talking about. So I'm just interested in seeing that, but I really do enjoy Blue X's. I enjoy the story of Rin and his twin brother Yuki, them going through this whole, going through everything with their powers and discovering themselves, being accepted for who they are by other people, and just trying to do their best. So yeah, Blue Exorcist, I'll put in very good. I really do enjoy it. It's pretty funny as well. Next is Assassination Classroom. This is another one I think is really, really good. I remember it's been a while since I've watched it, but I remember when it came out, it was very popular. I binged through her first season, was watching it every week whenever the second season came out, and then I watched like the movie, kind of like movie special OVA that they did, kind of showing 2 of the main characters coming back when they're like now like in their 20s or like late, like either early or late 20s, coming back to their school, and just reminiscing of what they had to go through. in that final year of middle school for them. So, but I really enjoy Assassination Classroom. It's a really good anime. Next is Black Butler. I did enjoy this as well. I would say the first season is really good. Second season was okay, from what I remember. And then, like, I guess you can call it the third season, the one where they're focusing on, well, not focusing, like, the premise took place of that circus and all those people. That was pretty good. And then there was, like, a movie special kind of following, like, right after the end of that arc. So I've seen almost everything of Black Butler. I haven't seen the new season that recently came out. I do believe it's done, so I will finish that and get back to you. But so far, I would say it was good. I really did enjoy the first season, which I think most people can agree on. Second season was okay. Third season was about the same. I did enjoy the movie that follows the third season or arc. So yeah, I would just say good. Next is Bleach. Oh, I love Bleach. Bleach is just, I mean, it's one of the top 3 animes. One of the top 3 for a reason. Bleach is so good. Besides, getting past all the filler, all the action, the actual main storyline of, all the characters, there's just so much to love. And I know most people who would like me, who grew up on watching Bleach, when it got announced years later that they were coming back to do the final arc, we were like, yes, finally. There was such a huge gap between the original run of Bleach to them doing the Thousand Ward Blood arc that they're doing now. But I know when people heard that, they were just as hyped, because that we were afraid that we were never gonna get this final arc done, and I thought I was just gonna have to read the manga for it, which I kept forgetting and putting off. But then it got announced years later, but finally did get announced, and I can tell you that final season so far, so far they split it into, I want to say 3 parts, or maybe no, I think it's only so far been split to 2 parts, and the third part is like in the works, if I'm remembering correctly. But no, Bleach is amazing. My Hero Academia. I do enjoy My Hero. It is really good. I would say the first 3 to 4 seasons were really good in my opinion. Second season, top tier. So good. Then I would say like most people, 5th season was alright. It wasn't, amazing. I guess it was a bit slow with them doing the whole versing the other hero course class that UA had. I know people really like the end of season, like towards the end episodes of season 5, where it like focuses more on the villains and what's to come. Then season 6 hit, then and then now with season 7, it's just back to back. So I would say My Heroes definitely have its ups and downs, but I would say overall it's a really good anime to watch and get into. Next is Boruto. See, that's the thing. I've only seen like bits and pieces of like certain arcs in Boruto. If I was someone who's maybe never seen it past like the first kind of arc, I would definitely put it in trash. One, I can't stand Boruto as a character. It's just, he was just a spoiled kid who didn't understand and wouldn't even try to understand like all the hardships his dad had to go through to get to the position he's in, to, him just not trying to ride on his dad's coattail, but was still like acting like there was nothing impossible for him. But we do see later on he does get humbled a lot, whether it's by other characters, by his dad himself. Like, he does get a wake-up call and does start to understand fully, like, my dad wasn't just, he wasn't given this position just to be given to it. Like, he had to work hard to get the love and respect that he has in the village now, as someone who, as us who grew up with OG Naruto, seeing how he was treated by the village, how they ostracized him, treated him like a monster because of the Nine-Tailed Fox, but how that, thanks to a few people like Iruka, him joining Squad 7 with Sakura and Sasuke, Kakashi Sensei, meeting Jiraiya, and just all the other people who gave him a chance. Hello, yes, I figured I'd jump in and do like not a quick stream, but I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't really want to jump onto a game. So I thought maybe I'd do another tier list. So I'll be talking about Shounen Anime. Right now I'm talking about Boruto. Have you ever seen Boruto? I was just saying I would put it in trash if I had not seen anything more past the like first arc that they did. Um, I did enjoy the kind of Sarada arc where she meets Sasuke for the first time, and then they have that whole awkward thing because Sasuke's been away from the village for so long, and Sarada, still being as young as she is, doesn't fully understand like what her dad is doing to like keep the village safe. But feels like everyone's just lying to her, keeping secrets, and it's really throwing her off. I really did enjoy the time travel arc that they did, where Boruto and Sasuke somehow ended up back in time around the time Sasuke deserted the village. So around that time, Naruto's around like 12 or 13. So Boruto was like seeing his dad around the same age that he is, seeing how hard life was for him, all the struggles he had to deal with, and how, seeing him now, how he overcame that. So, and there are like some other arcs that are pretty good. I did like the tuning exam that they did in that. It wasn't like the OG Naruto tuning exam, but it was still pretty good. So I would put it in acceptable. I wouldn't put it in straight trash. If I had seen nothing past the first arc, I probably would have put it in trash. I would say Boruto definitely got better by each like new arc that was happening. Next is D Gray Man. Ooh, I actually really love D Gray Man. I do wonder if they're ever gonna do like a season 3 of this. But like D Gray Man is really good. I do enjoy this. I did enjoy this anime. Back in the day. Then it came back with like its second, I guess, arc, kind of. Not really, because the first season was pretty long with like multiple arcs in it. But it kind of just came back with like its second season. So I'll put it in good. I did enjoy D Gray Man. It was really interesting. Alright, next is the grandfather of all animes, Dragon Ball Z. Like, come on, this was almost everyone's very first anime. It was either Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, or there was some other ones. I know a lot of people grew up watching like Saint Seiya, and that's a pretty old anime. But like when people think of the anime that kind of started the boom, that created like all that so many other animes take a reference to, it is definitely Dragon Ball Z. Of course, RIP to the creator, Akira Toriyama, who passed away recently. Honestly, there will never be another story like Dragon Ball ever. Like, even though I think the manga for Super is still ongoing, I don't think it's finished. I know they're trying to finish it up. I'm not sure if maybe he had like all the layout for what he wanted Super to be. We just all know that Dragon Ball Z is such a classic. It could never be replaced by any other anime that comes either from before Dragon Ball Z or after. Nothing will ever replace the influence that Dragon Ball Z has and will continue to have. So next, which I know is pretty controversial for most people, a Fairy Tail. I will say this to the day I die. I love Fairy Tail. I've been enjoying this new the 1,000 quest or 100 quest, I forget what it is, but basically the new season that's out of them going through this new quest that's supposed to be like impossible to complete, and it's just so good. I love Fairy Tail. I know a lot of people hate it, a lot of people don't like it. I love Fairy Tail. It's so good. Next is Fist of the North Star. I think I've only ever seen this once. I know a lot of like animes from this genre build on it, kind of like JoJo, Baki. Like they got a lot of influence from Fist of the North Star. I think I've only ever seen it once, like years ago, so I don't vividly remember it. But I would say it's interesting to watch, and then you can definitely see where the inspiration for some other animes like the ones I mentioned can kind of came from. Next, another really popular one, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I mind you, Brotherhood, it was just so much better than Not to say that the OG Full Metal Alchemist wasn't good. It's just that Brotherhood, as we all know, actually followed the main storyline of the manga from beginning to end, and it just gave so much more depth to like Edward and Alphonse, to everyone else in the army, other characters who probably didn't get a chance to shine, got a chance to shine, and there's just so many characters, whether they were good guys or bad guys, that just made it worth the while. So, and that's why it's such a classic. Why, whenever an anime tries to make it to the top, being the number one anime on my anime list, people have a frenzy and will do whatever they can to boost up my hero. I'm not my hero. Full Metal Alchemist to get it back up to its spot. It's crazy, but it just shows like that show is very, very good. Definitely a good remake to the original. Next is Gintama. I've seen bits and pieces of Gintama. It's supposed to be a comedy anime, but it does have its really, really good action scenes. They're like, it's supposed to be like a parody anime, but there are times when it gets real serious and has like really good action and fight scenes, and sometimes they do have like a really more in-depth story going on, and it's an interesting watch. But there's so many like different, like, I don't know if you go on like Crunchyroll or anywhere else that's having it streaming. Excuse me. They have it in like, so like the way they did it or released it, it was so weird, and it's such a long running anime that some episodes are dubbed, some aren't, some have like older voice actors that probably don't voice act anymore, and then so you can kind of tell the difference from when maybe they dubbed it and stopped, then the anime kept going, and then they brought it back to like a random episode and dubbed it, kind of like what they were doing with like Detective Conan, because the first like 100 and something episodes were dubbed under an American name of Case Closed. They still kind of do keep Case Closed as a name for the series, but I know that they originally started doing the anime again in dub, but I mean, again, it's been so many years since the original dub came out that they of course have a whole new cast for all the characters, but it wasn't like they began where they left off, which I guess makes sense because it was so many episodes in around the time they decided to bring back the dub, and I guess by the time whoever has the licensing for the anime, I guess wherever they ended up getting the licensing from, I guess that's where they decided posting the English for it. So Detective Conan is another one of those animes that there's a good chunk dub, then there's nothing but subtitled for a bunch of episodes, a bunch of movies too, because Detective Conan, and I'm pretty sure Gintama is the same, has like a bunch of movies where, I mean, I'm not sure if any of the movies are dubbed. If there is, I definitely will check it out. But yeah, this is just a huge gap of where there's nothing but subtitled Japanese, and then now they're bringing back, now they're doing a lot of the like older episodes or newer episodes dub, and they're even starting to release some of the new movies in dub. So just kind of that weird gap, but it's still enjoyable. So Hunter x Hunter. I know a lot of people are gonna crucify me for this. I have not fully finished watching the remake of Hunter x Hunter. I know I started it, I was like a couple episodes in, and then I stopped. So I definitely do need to go back and like start from the beginning, because I don't remember where I ended. But I do know the remake is really good. I know it popped off when it started and gotten into certain arcs that I don't think the original run for Hunter x Hunter did. So I think that's what blew it up. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Full Metal Alchemist. Like, I think the original Hunter x Hunter had its own like story, it did its own story, kind of followed bits and pieces of the manga here and there, but then they did this reboot or remaster or remake, and basically is I believe supposed to be a more faithful adaptation to the manga. and it just blew up. So many people were posting and tweeting and just doing videos about certain scenes or arcs in this remake. So, but I do need to get back on that. There's so many animes that I've either stopped or just forgot about that I need to go back and finish. And speaking of animes I finished and one I plan on doing a podcast about, it is Inuyasha, the OG one. The first one that was the 161 episodes. I love Inuyasha. This was definitely one of the very, very first anime I watched that wasn't like the norm of, oh, maybe watching like Pokemon or Digimon or, I don't think Dragon Ball Z was around that time. But like, it's one of those older animes that it's very near and dear to my heart. I loved Inuyasha. I loved when they brought back when they did the final arc of them finishing up the story where the first series ended. And then, of course, like I said, a lot of people don't like it, but I definitely prefer it way more than I do to Boruto, which was Yashahime following the story, following Inuyasha, pretty much following the kids of the main series and what their adventures are and kind of what happened involving their parents. So, but I love Inuyasha, and I love this is a lot of favorites for girls. And another funny thing is, a lot of people make this reference that this is kind of like a lot of people's very, very first isekai, which kind of makes sense because Kagome enters the well and not quite ends up in another world, but does kind of end up in like I forget what type of time, like something's like 17th or 18th century Japan, around the time where people were wearing kimonos and demons were supposed to be running rampant. So it's like a fantasy version of like 18th century Japan, or I forget which century it's supposed to be that she ends up traveling back into. And it's just, yeah. But it's so good. I love it, Inuyasha. Next is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I actually really did enjoy this show. I didn't think I would like it. I didn't watch it when it originally came out and people were blowing it up. I remember vividly at one of my old jobs, there was this girl who was getting more into anime. She knew I was into anime, so I'd give her like certain shows to recommend her to watch, and she was like, "Oh, I don't think they have. Do they still have all of JoJo on Netflix? I'd have to check that." But this was around the time like the first and second arc of JoJo was being released on Netflix. She caught wind of it. I think what drew her to it was around that time Baki was coming out, the like new Netflix version of it, and she I think maybe it recommended it to her because it's kind of similar in a way to Baki, and she was like, "Oh, actually JoJo's pretty good." But then a couple of like months or years went by, and then I finally picked it up, and I binged through like the first like 3 arcs of JoJo. And I was like, oh my god, now I know why people like this show so much. It's so good. And then, yeah, I'm all, actually, I'm not manga, anime-wise, I'm all caught up. I've seen everything of JoJo from the anime. I know there's like a couple more like arcs. There's like other parts that haven't been animated yet. But we stopped at, I want to say it's 6. Yeah, because first one, second, third, and now fourth is the one that really like blew up the series, and it's Diamonds Unbreakable. What's the other one after that? I think it's like 5 or 6 was like the last one that was animated. That involves like one of the former protagonist's daughter. She's like the main character in that. But yeah. Ooh, one that I remember seeing that it's supposed to be getting like a season 3, Noragami. Noragami was so good when I watched it. I remember I had this anime friend that had in my job before I started working from home. That she was really into this anime too, and I was like, "Oh, you're watching that too? It's so good." And then after the second season, never got anything. And then I don't remember. I'd have to look it up, but I could have sworn it was getting like a season 3, or like a season 3 was in the works. Because especially from what I remember, how season 2 ended, definitely ended with like a huge cliffhanger and like a huge reveal of someone. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I would love to get a season 3. So I'll put it in good from what I remember. It was a very good anime. Let's see, what's next? One Piece. I'll put this in good as well. I know this is another hot take, but I actually was really into One Piece when it came out. I watched every episode that came out. I know every Saturday around that time there was always like 1 or 2 episodes that came out, new episodes. And then one year I just stopped. I think maybe other shows caught my attention, or I think that's pretty much what it is. I think other shows caught my attention. I put it on hold, never came back to it. Look back and they're like hundreds of episodes in. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I know I stopped watching it for a few years, but apparently after where I stopped, they just kept going. Just kept releasing episodes. And yeah, now they're like over 1,000 episodes. Kind of like Gintama and kind of like Detective Conan. These are one of the very few animes that's still ongoing to this day and are in like the thousands, which is insane to me. This is Hitman Rebirth. I have been trying to find this anime, but I can't find it anywhere, and it's driving me crazy. I really want to watch it because it looks so interesting. Actually, of course, let me add it below. Let's make it. And that's fine. And let's push you down. Haven't watched. But I remember also seeing somewhere that there was supposed to be like some special coming out where they were gonna do like 2 or 3 episodes and like an OVA and like a dub to, I guess, test the waters out to see if people wanted to watch the show. But I can't find it anywhere. It's driving me crazy. I want to watch it. It looks so good. Next is Rurouni Kenshin. Listen, OG, I'm not saying the new one is bad. The new one is pretty good. I finished it. But I don't know. Something about the OG Rurouni Kenshin just hits different. Maybe because it's one of those ones I grew up watching around the time I was in like elementary to middle school. But OG Rurouni Kenshin, so good. Such a classic. This is Seraph of the End. I would say the anime was fine. I really want them to do a season 3 and continue on, because I continued on where if I was talking about the manga, it would definitely be a bit more higher. Cause where the anime ended and the manga continues, oh my god, there was so much stuff going on that I really want them to do like a season 3, maybe even a season 4 of how much stuff has been done or revealed or happened in the manga. I really want them to do a season 3. And I remember seeing somewhere that it was quote unquote in the works of a season 3 months ago and still have not heard anything. So, I want a season 3, but I have caught up with the manga and I want more. Next is Soul Eater. A lot of people, I know this is not really a hot take, because Soul Eater was a very, very good anime. It's just the ending was not what people wanted, which then we found out, I think years later, or people who read the manga knows that the anime had an anime original ending, and then that's not how the anime, or that's not how the story should have ended, or what's happened was supposed to happen. I myself have never read the manga, so I don't know what was supposed to happen. I definitely will. Keep getting these bubbles. But no, but the rest of the run for Soul Eater was so good. The opening, iconic. I wish I could play it, but I know I get copyright. The opening was the very first opening from Soul Eater, so good. But the rest of the anime was good. It's just the ending fell off a lot. But I would still say it's a very good anime to watch. Next, Yu Yu Hakusho. This one's such another classic for me. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. They do this a few times, but this is one of the ones where all the main fighters and the main characters are all guys in this. Yusuke is not your typical protagonist. He says what's on his mind. He's crude. He's crass. There's some very iconic scenes of him. I remember one vividly where they're about to fight this fighter that's dressed up like a girl. So of course Kurobar, the guy in the orange hair, is like, I can't do it. My code prevents me from fighting girls. I just can't. And Yusuke jumps up and he's like, I'll fight her. But he's like, you're a Meshi, are you serious? And he's like, she's a fighter trying to get in our way. I don't care if she's a girl, a baby, or somebody's grandmother. I'll still knock her out. That had me rolling for a good couple of hours. That was just too funny on how he was just so quick to be like, I don't care if she's a woman. I don't care about anything. She's a fighter. She's in our way. So as a fighter, I'm gonna fight her like it is. It's so funny. Actually, maybe I could find that clip real quick. That was just too funny to me. We go to YouTube. But it had a lot of like, especially in the dub. The dub is so good. I know a lot of people are kind of spectacle to the dub. No, Yu Yu Hakusho is one of them very few animes where the dub is so good and just so iconic. Oh yes, I found it. I found the correct video too. I mean, it has other favorite lines of Yusuke, but this one, oh, excuse me. No, this one gets me every time. Let me get the. Here we go. I'll do full screen. Let's pause. Well, just in case, I'll make it low. Yeah, I mean, I think it should be fine. Oh, with copyright, but still. The audio. Yep. Alright. Yeah, no, this. Well, no, maybe I'll just do it. But yeah, no, this scene. This is the one I was just talking about. So freaking funny. And it has like some other moments where he's just hilarious. I love Yusuke. So let's. Oop, make sure the volume's up. And we go.
Don't fight girls.
I'll fight with you.
You're messy. Are you serious?
She's a fighter and she's trying to get in our way. I don't care if she's a girl or a baby or somebody's grandmother. I'll still knock her out. Oh.
Like, who says that? Like, I mean, okay, if you know, you don't want to, like, disrespect her coming out fighting, but, like, who says that? Who just like, I don't care if she's a baby, I don't care if she's a girl, a baby, or somebody's grandmother, I'll still knock her out. Like, what? I'm sorry, I gotta hear that again. That was too funny.
Are you serious?
She's a fighter and she's trying to get in our way. I don't care if she's a girl or a baby or somebody's grandmother. I'll still knock her out.
No, that was like a very iconic line for Yusuke for me. I just can't. And then the other guys, you know, have some other. They all play like a different role, and they just make such an amazing team. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. I definitely would recommend. It is an older anime, but it is such a good one, and the dub is fantastic. Next is the Seven Deadly Sins. I really do enjoy the seven. I did enjoy the Seven Deadly Sins. I've seen all of it. I've been watching the Seven Deadly Sins, the Four Nights of the Apocalypse anime. Been catching up with that. I know that got announced to have a season 2 coming out. I know a lot of people fell off of it after, well, around the time the third season where they started changing things, especially around the time where there was supposed to be this huge, like, iconic fight in the manga with Meliodas and Escanor that the anime apparently didn't deliver. So a lot of people after that fell off. But I really did enjoy the anime. I love the story. I love how it ended. And then I just love how it's even though the Seven Deadly Sins their story is done, it's kind of doing what I mean. I know a lot of animes are doing this now, and I kind of hate to bring this up again, but it's kind of doing what Boruto is doing, basically, not fully, but still like indicating the next generation of, you know, in this case, you know, knights or powerful beings, and just trying to either go against faith or trying to do the right thing. So I do enjoy it. Next is Jujutsu Kaisen or JJK. So far, I mean, for people who are anime only, like me, I know that this anime is so good, especially the second season. The second season freaking popped off with so much things that happened. Whether it was in the flashback arc with Gojo back when he was a student at Jujutsu High, or when we get into the Shibuya arc, and like, shit hit the fan with that arc. Oh my god, there was just so much going on, so many things happening. Like, at the end, I just had to just just stand there and be like, what in the world just happened? Like, oh my god, we took such a left turn. It's insane. But no, Jujutsu Kaisen is really good. I can't wait for them to. I mean, they already announced, like, right after season 2 was done, that they were already in the works for season 3. Forget what it's supposed to be called. I don't remember. But yeah, no. And from what I've been hearing, it just gets better from here. So, if that's even crazier to accept. Next, Demon Slayer. I love Demon Slayer. I enjoy it. One, I know a lot of people try to hate on Demon Slayer because of the animation. People think the animation is what's pulling the story, which that is so not true. The animation is in the top tier. You can't deny that. But the story is really good. I do love that Tanjiro is kind of more of a relatable character. He's not super overpowered. If anything, he has so far not defeated a major big bad on his own, which shows that yeah, he may have like special abilities or special potential, or him being the one that maybe is pushing the story along. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's the all powerful, the one who's gonna, like, without him we can't do this. Like, no, if anything, he plays a big part, but we need everyone else to do their part as well. So it's like we need everyone to do their part, chip in to do this. And I can't wait for this final arc. I know it drives me crazy thinking it's supposed to be a 3-part movie, and I know we won't get it over here in America for a very long time because I know Japan's gonna get it first. Excuse me, but no, I can't wait, but I can't. I really want to watch them. It's so good. I haven't watched the dub of the final season, or the last season that just finished. I'd have to go. I watched the subbed. I watched the episodes coming out weekly. Um, Not to spoil, but that final episode, oh my god, I can't wait to listen to that in the dub and see what they do with that. Cause that final episode of the last arc, oh my Jesus, I can't. Oh my jeez. Next, Fire Force. Um, this is probably a hot take. I liked the first season. It took me a while. One, which I'm sure most people can probably guess, the fan service. The fan service got way too much for me. I know there's so many animes that have fan service, and some can do it in a good moderation. But after a specific character joined, that's like all anything involving her had to deal with. To the point that even scenes that maybe had nothing to do with her in the beginning gets involved because of her, because of some type of fan service thing going on. And it was like, oh my god, can we please have a normal moment like before all this? Like, but I did finish the first season. It's been a while, so I'll probably have to go back and rewatch. I don't remember, and then I haven't touched the second season, but I do hear it's still pretty good. Next, this is Naruto Shippuden. Specifically, should I put in very good or excellent? I'll put in very good only because it kind of has the same problem that Bleach had, where, and I think it was actually, I think, in my opinion, I think kind of almost worse than Bleach, was a lot of the filler that happened. I mean, at one point, for a good couple of months, that's all we were getting. We were just getting nothing but filler episodes for filler arcs. And I know OG Naruto had a few filler arcs, but I know that was more towards the end of Naruto, subtracting like maybe 4 or 5 episodes towards the end of OG Naruto that might have been in the manga or had something to do, quote unquote, with the plot. But yeah, no. I mean, Naruto Shippuden did some good. There's like a good few, like, not few, but there was a few arcs that were from the manga. Then like they would do like story arc, filler arc, story arc, filler arc, story arc, filler arc. Then for a while they did nothing but straight story arcs, which were good. But then at one point it was just nothing but filler arcs, and it was like, oh my god, especially towards the end of Naruto. There were so Naruto Shippuden. There were so many filler arcs or filler episodes, and it was just like, oh my god, you thought Bleach was bad. But no, I do still enjoy OG Naruto, and Naruto Shippuden is just as high up there. Um, this is One Piece again. It's just like, I mean, I don't. I think this is maybe around the time they did the whole time skip. So this is like OG, I guess quote unquote OG One Piece, and then this is them after like that whole 2 years time skip that they had. I do know about that. I do know like halfway through the story, or a good like portion throughout the story, something happened and they all went their separate ways, and then went away for like 2 3 years, and then came back together. So I'll just put that there. World Trigger. I have not seen this. I've heard it's good, but I have not seen it. Next, Black Clover. I really enjoy Black Clover. I know a lot of people hate Black Clover. One for, Asta and everything. But, um, I do think maybe that's also the Japanese, because I watched the dub and I had no problem with like Asta screaming and whatnot. So, and I know a lot of people who gave Black Clover a hard time did go back and watch the dub, and they were like, okay, this I can kind of deal with. He's screaming is not too over the top like it is in Japanese. But I enjoy Black Clover. I've seen the anime like 3 or 4 times. When they announced that Sword, what was it? Something Sword of the Wizard King movie. I watched it as soon as it was released on Netflix, and it was really good. I can't wait for them to come back so we can continue where we left off in the main story. So, and I have done 2 episodes podcast wise, doing like the first like 2 or 3, like no, maybe like two. First, like maybe two really big arcs of Black Clover. I mean, like the very beginning. I did like maybe the first 2 arcs of Black Clover, and then stopped. Yeah, 'cause I haven't. Don't think I got into the Underwater Temple. I didn't get to the Magic Night, the Royal Magic Night test. Then them with the elves, and then that whole they didn't have a filler arc, but it actually was a pretty good filler arc, which surprising enough. I know a lot of people said that. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this filler arc that they did before they got to the Spade arc was actually pretty good." And then of course the Spade arc where we ended, at least the first main series. Next is Magi. I loved Magi. I hate how it just ended. I don't think there's a manga for this. I think this is based off like a light novel or something. But I did watch the first 2 seasons. So good, and then never heard anything from about it again. Um, I know that a lot of animes back in the day unless I don't know, because it's just weird because I heard it's so popular, but it's only ever gotten it's 2 seasons and then nothing for years. I know they've had like spin-offs where it's like same world but it's focused on like other characters when they were like maybe younger before they met the main cast. So like OG Magi. So yeah. Next is Slime. I would say this is actually pretty good. I did enjoy that. All not all caught up, but I've finished the last season that came out. I know there's like a new season out now, but I haven't watched it yet. But I do plan to. But I have to say this is actually a really good isekai anime that was kind of like not really a fresh breather. It does have the typical the main character dies in his our real world, gets reincarnated into a fantasy world. But with this, he's transported back into a slime, but a really overpowered one. Eventually, gets like a human form, and just is creating this world where he can be with the people he's bonded with in peace. But is still overpowered to the point that if he needed to crush his enemies, he could do so with ease. Next, OG Naruto. I don't know. Something about OG Naruto is just so good. Like, just seeing the very beginning of Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's story. Just so many good arcs in OG Naruto. When they did the Zabuza arc, then they did the Chunin exams, then, was there a filler? I mean, kind of. They were like, no. Then we got introduced to Itachi. Then we got the 3 Sanin. Then the Sasuke rescue arc. And I think after that, there were a lot of filler episodes after that. And then them wrapping it up with what happened at the end. And then, us. Then there was like a good gap between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I remember my cousin announced, he's like, "Oh, they brought it back." After a while, now he's all grown up. It's like a 2 or 3 time skipped, and now he's come back. Because I think in OG Naruto he's supposed to be around like 12 or 13, and here he's supposed to be like 16 or 17. So there's like a huge time gap between. And I think the time between these two was about like 2 or 3 years. Like by the time OG Naruto ended, I don't think Alicia Pudding was releasing until about like 2 years later, which is pretty interesting. So I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, but I thought that was interesting. Next is Baki. I love Baki, which is weird because I wouldn't think I'd be interested in a show like Baki, with how violent and gruesome it is. But I think it's different because it's them fighting and then the over exaggerated explanations of how these people train and fight and train their muscles, and the feats they'll go to defeat each other. It's just so crazy. It kind of, like I said, it kind of reminds me of like JoJo, of just how bizarre these fights are and what they do. It's really insane, but it's so good, which is weirdly because I had no idea I'd like this. Blue Lock. This is one of the ones I added. I haven't watched it, but I heard this is a pretty good sports anime to watch. I think it's supposed to be getting like a either a second season or a movie. I don't remember, but I know I saw something after the first season. Next is Bobobo. This I remember really enjoying this. It's one of those parody comedy animes. It's just I know it's definitely aged like milk now, because I know a lot of the references it's did was around the time the anime was created. But I sometimes will go back and just rewatch it just for the funniness of me reliving of when I did watch Bobobo. So I would put that in good. I really did enjoy Bobobo. Next, one of the animes I was talking about, Detective Conan, or Case Close. I love Detective Conan. I first got into it around the time I was going through my Law and Order SVU binge. I was like, ooh, there's a crime anime about detectives solving cases. And of course, SVU still does solve, cases, but more of the, special victims unit, and, that type of cases that fall into that jurisdiction. But with this one, especially with the Conan, it was more like them solving like murder cases or missing people. So it was very interesting to see the contrast between the two. And anime wise, I have not caught up. That's a lot of episodes to watch. I've watched a few episodes here and there, a few episodes that's caught my eye. I've seen every Detective Conan movie though. Every single one. I've seen them. So I haven't seen all the anime, but I've definitely seen all the movies. I know one just got released for an English dub. It's like some Halloween kind of themed one, or it takes place during Halloween, or it was released around Halloween, one of those three. But yeah, movie wise, I've seen all the Detective Conan movies, and I've seen a good majority of the anime. But so I love Detective Conan. Next is Cells at Work. I think this is a really funny, kind of educational anime, kind of. Basically, it's about like exploring the human body. If all our like blood cells and all the different things inside of our bodies were living people going around working to make sure that our bodies are working the way it should. It's just very interesting in seeing how they did this. So but and I do know that the main guy who did the white blood cell passed away a couple of years ago, which was really unfortunate. He did a bunch of other voices. I know he did one of the lower moons in Demon Slayer for like the first season, and he did one of the main characters in another anime. I think I put on here. Did I put up here? Oh, I did. Welcome to Demon School Irumukins. He did the voice for this guy. I know they found someone who sounds pretty similar, so you can't really tell the difference unless you're someone who's very keen on voices. But I really did enjoy Cells at Work. Next is Chainsaw Man. I know I'm probably gonna get flack for this one too. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. I have so many things on my list. But I have not watched it yet. Next is Claymore. I remember watching this back in the day, But if you would ask me what this is about, I have no idea. So I'm gonna put it in haven't watched. Which, actually, below. Remember. Put that there. Because I remember watching it. But if you ask me what this anime is about, I have no idea. I can't remember for the life of me. Next is Code Breakers. I really do enjoy this. But I would say this is one of another ones where the anime was good, but the manga, oh, I wish they continued the story. I know it kind of had its own like original anime ending, but where the manga and the anime kind of caught off around the same part, oh my god, there was so much more that happened in the manga. Um, that I kind of wish they brought this back and like did a true faithful adaptation to this, because where the anime and stopped and where the manga continues on, oh, there was so much more. So many more reveals, so many more things, so many more fight scenes that just wasn't in the anime. That is just, and you get to know a bit more about some of the other characters and them growing and their powers getting strong. It's really good. I really do enjoy the manga. I wish they continued it. Kind of like with Seraph at the end. That's kind of why I put them kind of together. Because it's the anime was good. The anime was okay. But the manga, where the manga continues, oh, they need to do like a season 2 or bring it back and redo it. Because that was good. Dead Man Wonderland. I remember watching this back when it first came out. I kind of know the premise, but not really. So I'm gonna put that in don't remember either, cause if you would ask me what the main premise of this, I know it's like something happens to the main guy. He gets framed, ends up getting sent to this prison. Also, he ends up getting like this weird power where he can like manipulate his blood, and then he gets sent to this jail where he's forced to go through these like quote unquote games for entertainment, but you could if you don't make it or something happens, you could die. If I remember correctly, but yeah. So I'm gonna just put in don't remember because I do remember watching it back in the day, but I don't remember it like word for word. This is Doro. I know this is the remake one. I haven't seen the original, but I did watch the remake and I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed the story of Hirimaru, I think that's his name, of his journey of trying to get his body back, trying to get revenge on the people that used him as a sacrifice so that they could live good lives. Him just wanting to regain what was lost and taken from him against his will, and him bonding with I think Doro's the girl. Oops, sorry. The little kid, if I remember correctly. But yeah, next, I did want to put all the different versions of Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, because I know each one is a bit higher in my, like, so, for GT, I know a lot of people hate GT, but I would say it was fine only because I would say the last two arcs of GT, I think kind of saved it. The baby arc, so good. And then the Shadow Dragon arc was actually really good. I know a lot of people who hate GT with a passion, but those same people are the same ones who can't deny that the baby saga and the Shadow Dragon saga of GT were really really good, and those were like the last two like major arcs in that series. So I would say it's fine. It wasn't like a masterpiece. I don't wouldn't like fight to the death over GT. I was like the first beginning of GT is not, like okay. It's not like praiseworthy, but definitely the Baby Saga and the Shadow Dragon Saga, really really good. Next is Super. I would say it's a bit better than GT. Um, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen all of it. I've seen all of Super, but I do know there's more to the story as Super's manga is still ongoing. There's a lot of things that's supposed to be happening in the manga that we haven't gotten yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I would say from what I've seen so far, I would say Super is pretty good. It's kind of seeing where they left off on Z. Of at this time, everyone's a bit older. Gohan is now starting a family of his own. Now we get introduced to gods of destruction, angels. We do get a really good time, like another future Trunks arc that comes into play with Goku Black. I know when that arc happened, Super kind of blew up because Goku Black was everywhere when that arc wasn't or released on streaming sites. But I would say overall, I would say definitely more favorable me rewatching Super than I am GT. Most of the time, if I do, I don't know, get the itch to watch GT, I mostly just go straight to the Baby Saga and the Shadow Dragon arc. So, yeah. Next is OG Dragon Ball, which is pretty funny because I know that a lot of people like me, we saw Z first, as that was released. Then years later, we find out that Z is actually a sequel to Dragon Ball, where we follow the adventures of Goku and everyone else when they've met for the first time. Goku learning more about his powers, getting his strength. Then we get into Z, where we find out he's an alien that was sent to Earth. Something happened. He lost his memories, and now it's coming back to haunt him and threaten the world that he now calls his home and his family. So I really enjoyed. I actually went back and I watched Dragon Ball around the time Z kind of was ending, and I was like, oh wow, why didn't they release this first? I mean, because it would make more sense, because that way we could see Goku in the beginning of his journey of him meeting everyone like Bulma, Krillin, Master Roshi, Yamcha, his rivalry with Piccolo, Tien, getting that whole how they knew each other, how that bond created. Because when we get into Z, at that point they all know each other, they're all friends. Him and Piccolo still have something of a rivalry in the very beginning, but that does get resolved later on, and he ends up becoming a really close friend and family to everyone. So, but I do love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is just so good. But I would just say, for nostalgia reasons, since it was the first one I saw, and I know a lot of people did, Z just holds that very special place in a lot of people's hearts. Next is Eden Zero, which is kind of like not a remake of Fairy Tail, but kind of following, not really in the same world of Fairy Tail. It's the same creator who created Fairy Tail, but it's like more in space, got to deal with space stuff. I liked it. It was pretty fine, pretty good. I didn't see the second season yet, but I did watch the first season. I think it's more interesting of seeing like the designs of some of the very iconic Fairy Tail people, like Natsu, Lucy, Urza, Wendy, Happy. Just seeing them and just seeing how their designs are used in like a whole new world. Next is I think what's this called? Gotta something zero. Gotta raise zero, I think. Let me do that. Yeah, gotta raise zero. I remember watching this back in the day, then forgetting about it, and then something triggered me to rewatch it again. And it's actually a pretty good anime. It's pretty interesting on because it starts off not weird, but kind of starts off with kind of we should know what happens, but then after a couple amount of episodes, it does turn to a flashback of what kind of led up to what's happening now. Then does end up like wrapping up. So it is a pretty good anime. I enjoyed it. The fight scenes are pretty interesting, and seeing the powers and how these people go through this world. It's interesting. Next is Good Luck Girl. This is actually a pretty funny anime. I do like this. But I'd put this in average because it's a pretty okay anime. Basically, it's about this girl who pretty much had like a tough life growing up. But suddenly it's like something in the universe switched, and now she's getting all this super duper luck that she's not supposed to. So then we get this poverty god that's supposed to come and suck out all the excess luck she's accumulating so that way it could be spread out properly. But of course, she doesn't want that, ruining, her life, or it turning back to how it was, or some maybe even worse. So they go through this whole thing of her trying to, of them going back and forth, of her trying to steal her happiness or her good luck, and her not wanting to give that up. So it's pretty interesting. Next is another one, and I this another one that doesn't have a season two, and it got a like announced but then canceled. High School of the Dead. Now, as someone who is not a horror fan, I enjoyed High School of the Dead. It's such a good anime. The stories are so good. The characters are so amazing. The fight scenes are insane. There are some very iconic scenes in this anime that just makes you like, that's not possible. That gets not how that works. But it's just so over the top, so crazy, and the way they do ecchi and horror with this weirdly blends together kind of good, which is weird to say, but yeah. But it's one of those ones that's really good. Never got a season two, but then rumors were stating that they got were in the make of a season two. So not sure if that was real or if they were doing it but then got canceled. But no, High School of the Dead, very, very good. Next is Inspect or Inspector. I'll say this is pretty. I mean, I watched it. I enjoyed it. Um, but I would say, I mean, the first season was good. Second season was same, which is about good. But I'll say, yeah, I would say it was more fine, more of a fine anime. Ugh, like something's on me. I mean, yeah, that's pretty what to say. It's more like a hit or miss. You can really enjoy it, or you could not. But it's pretty interesting. It does do that whole supernatural, spirits, um, and whatnot. So next is Inuyasha, the final. Oops, Inuyasha, the final arc. I'm gonna put that in very good because one, I was so happy when they got announced that they were doing this to get a season two, or pretty much a continuation to finish up the story after so many years of the first series ending. I thought we were never gonna get a conclusion season, and that's what we end up getting with the final arc. And I know some people probably had some mixed feelings, especially they were able to get back most of the voice actors for the final arc, but I know Kagome's voice actress, I think, retired at that point, so she couldn't come back. I know Shishomaru's original voice actor was about the same, so they got someone else for him. But everyone else is pretty much the same. I know Inuyasha, not Kagome, Sango and Moroku, their voice actors were the same. I think Showa Shippo, and then some of the other characters' voices were the same. But I think those were like the two major changes voice wise in that. And I know that probably threw a lot of people off. But I loved the final arc of Inuyasha. Finally getting a conclusion to the anime. This is Kaiji no 8. I haven't watched this yet. Again, oops, wrong list. Wrong tier. I haven't watched this yet. I do plan on watching it, but I've heard it's like really, really good. But I haven't watched it yet. So I'm much well, of course, put in my haven't watched. Okay, we are almost done. So next is Karen. I did enjoy this. I'll say it's pretty average, kind of like your average romance. Basically, it's this girl who she's a vampire, but she's a different type of vampire. That she can be out in the sun. She can do certain things that a vampire really normally wouldn't do. So her family are trying to figure out what's going on with her and why she's like weirdly drawn to this really depressed guy at her school that just transferred, and then all the adventures of that, trying to keep her secret, trying to keep her being a vampire a secret, make sure that no one finds out her family's are vampires either, and just going through all of that. So I would actually say it's pretty average romance, pretty good. Next is Kenichi, the mightiest disciple. I love Kenichi. Sometimes I go, cause I know the anime studio that did this has its own YouTube channel, and they have all the episodes up, sub and dub. And sometimes I don't know, I'll just get a feel, a feel, and I'll just start binging Kenichi again. And I just remember just how good this anime is. It's so good. I know there's a couple like OVAs and like special episodes that we never got, um, dubbed wise, but I think they are starting to release them dubbed. So I'd have to look into that. But Kenichi, was so good, especially if someone you're a huge like martial arts fan. Seeing Kenichi's growth of wanting to get strong, to protect the people he cares about, is really good. Next, Kuroko no Basket. I'll say this was actually a pretty okay anime as well. It's one of those sports anime. I didn't think I would enjoy it the way I did, but I did enjoy kind of the story of, these basketball teams, competing with each other. There's like this team of like really four really powerful players that now has split off and are now parts of other teams now that they're in high school and them competing with each other. It's really interesting. And there's a lot. There's like 3 seasons of this, and then like I want to say like 2 movies if I'm remembering correctly. So it got pretty big, and I mean it's one that got like multiple seasons and like 2 movies if I'm remembering correctly. But I enjoyed it for what it is, especially for someone who's not as big sports fan as I used to. Next is this is that sequel anime that I talk about from Magi. Well, I guess prequel, because this pretty much follows the adventures of a character we meet in Magi, who is a lot older. So this is like his adventures when he was around, I guess, Aladdin, Alibaba, and Morgana's age. I've watched like bits and pieces of it, but I haven't watched it in full, and that's been a while as well. So I'm putting I haven't watched it. I haven't fully watched it, so I don't know like 100% the beginning to end what happens in that anime. Next is Magic. Yeah, it's Sinbad. The Sinbad kind of, I guess you can call it a prequel. Basically following his adventures of him and him getting his what are they, like, the not the four knights, but like his own like generals that he end up um implicating when he had made his kingdom. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've heard it's pretty hilarious, and from the few parts I saw, were like had me cracking up. But I don't remember if I watched it fully, and if I did, that was a while ago when this came out. So I'm gonna just put that there. Cloud definitely would have to rewatch it, cause in its entirety. Next is Magic Kaito 1412. Basically, this is kind of like a spin-off of Detective Conan, but basically following the, I guess, adventures of one of his like main rivals. Um, they do a lot of comparisons to the two of them. That basically, Conan is supposed to be like the modern day Sherlock Holmes, while Kid the Phantom Thief is supposed to be the modern day Arsene Lupin. So they do have like kind of like that Sherlock's and Lupin rivalry and competition going on. And this one focuses more on Kid and his adventures and why he does what he does, like his own goal of him trying to figure out what happened with his dad, like what caused his dad's death and whatnot. And just, it's pretty interesting. I'd hate that they only got 1 season. I guess it didn't get enough to where it got like a season 2. But I enjoyed it, and the opening for that is really good. Next is Love After World Domination. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I'll say it's, yeah, pretty fine. It's like not your typical romance anime. Basically, the two characters fall in love, but one is like the leader of like this hero group, while the other one is like this top ranked general of this villain organization. But he ends up falling in love with her. She doesn't believe him at first because she's always been rejected because of how physically strong she is compared to like most girls, and how her family kind of always wanted her to be part of the organization, so that's something that they've always done. But he, tells her that that's like all the things that people have like ostracized her for, or the very things he fell in love with her for. So just kind of seeing their romance of them, trying to be like this quote unquote married couple, but trying to keep it a secret from either one of their like groups, because knowing that if either one finds out, it's not gonna end well. But it's really cute just seeing their relationship, them trying to do like normal couple things, but then both of their identities and who they are, the people around them getting in the way of that and almost exposing them. I mean, at some point, they do kind of come out to in a way that doesn't like spoil their identities that they are together. So it's really interesting and it's very cute. Next is Moriarty the Patriarch. Now this is a really good one. I have to finish these. I have the season part 2. I haven't finished part 2, but the first part of this so good. And that opening was in my head for like a week. But it basically this is like your typical Sherlock Moriarty anime, but instead we follow it with Moriarty, kind of like the quote unquote good guy, kind of. I guess you can call him more of an anti-hero in this, of him helping people exact revenge or right or wrong that was due to them, even if it goes above the law and whatnot. So it's really interesting seeing it from like the quote unquote villain's point of view and why they believe what they're doing is right. It's so good. I need to finish part 2. Next is Pandora Heart. I don't remember if I watched this. I know a lot of people had mixed feelings about this compared to the manga. I've heard the manga's really good, but I've heard it's one of those ones where they really went off the source material for the anime. So I would have to give it a try if I don't remember. I think I've watched it, but I don't remember. But I do vividly remember that people saying the anime wasn't that good, and that it was totally different from how the manga went. Okay, we're almost there. Next is the OG Ramen One Half. I so enjoy Ramen One Half. I can't wait for this reboot. I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do, what type of what the I haven't read the manga myself, so I don't know what in the original Ranma was kind of quote unquote filler. What if there were certain things that weren't in the OG anime that now it's gonna be in this one? But I loved Rama. I saw all the episodes, all the OVAs, all the movies that they've done. I actually rewatched one of the movies recently just because I think around the time the reboot got announced. So I so enjoy Rama and I can't wait for the reboot. I know a lot of people are trying to throw off because of the anime style. I don't care about that. I just want to see it. It looks cool to me. Next is Mashal. I keep putting this one off too, but I do need to watch this. I've heard this is good. The second season, I believe, is finished, and I heard that's good as well. So I need to get on that. I have so many animes on my list to watch. It's crazy. Next, ooh, I love this one. I really love the manga too. This is Rave Master. Now, if anyone, this I think believe this is made by the same creator or maybe was kind of worked on the same as the people who created Fairy Tail. Cause I know there's supposed to be like a Rave Master and Fairy Tail crossover that they did a while back. But I love Rave Master and where the anime ended and the manga continues. Oh my god, I wish they continued the story. Cause there was so much more that got revealed that the anime stopped at. But the original run of the anime was still really, really good. Uh, I love Rave Master. Actually, this makes me want to watch maybe want to watch Rave Master again. It's so good. Next is the OG Shaman King. I, the OG Shaman King was so good. One, that opening will forever be iconic. Not that the new one was bad. I don't know, something about the OG. And I know a lot of people can agree with this. The OG Shaman King opening, that's a banger. That's never gonna go away. Like, so good. And even though the original anime, this first version doesn't really follow the storyline of the manga, as the second one did, it's still such a classic. I know a lot of people grew up, or were around the time they were mad young, around the time the OG Shaman King came out, and it's one of those really staple animes for a lot of people. Ooh, next is was it the case study of Vanta? Bleh. I can never say his name. The case study of Vantias. Yeah, I actually really did enjoy this. I want to say the second season was like back to like first season ended, and then there was like a short pause, and then the second season came out, kind of picking up exactly where the first season ended. And then so far, I haven't heard anything from that. But I really want them to do a season 3 because it looks so good. Oh, no, just checking. I got a message. Let me just check real quick. Okay, I'm just spawning back. But where was I? Oh yeah. Um, what I put it in? I mean, yeah, I really didn't enjoy it. I loved. It's one of those shows that has like a lot of mysteries. Like you think you learned one thing, but then something else pops up, and then there's like more secrets hidden in between that. So it's really interesting if that's something you're into. Next is Spy X Family. I do need to catch up. I'm not caught up with this. I don't know. They did some weird things, but they split the first season into like two parts, two or three parts, and then there's like an official season two, which I haven't gotten to, and then now there's a movie that's out. So I need to watch the second season. Like I think even that I think they split that into two as well. So I need to watch the second season and then watch the movie. But I love Spy Family. Anya is someone you need to protect at all costs. Your I think that's her name. Your is just oh my god, she's so cool. And then Lloyd is just I mean, he's the typical spy character, but kind of seeing how their family, started off as a lie, as nothing more than a cover, but them slowly growing into a family and wanting that family life. Next is the Prince of Tennis. I remember watching this back in the day, and I actually started rewatching it when they started releasing the new dub for this. I do know that there's supposed to be another season where the last season that aired stopped, where they're still in that the World Cup. It's supposed to be like I guess you can say like a part two for that. I think so. I think that's what they're calling it. But if you're a huge tennis fan, you'll love this. The only thing is that majority of the characters are supposed to be in middle school, but a lot of them look like they could easily pass at like you would think they were seniors in high school at most. But I mean, we do get introduced to some high school students later on in the series, but like all the main characters or like the main group that we follow are supposed to be middle schoolers, and it's like I don't remember middle schoolers looking like this, looking like they could pass for high schoolers. I know a lot of them are like in their last year of middle school, so but then they end up going to the training camp for like the next arc, and then now with this, but the like a good majority of them are like in their last year of middle school and they're supposed to be going on to high school. It's so weird. I don't know when they do anime characters like that when they look like they could be like over 18 and it's like no this guy's like maybe 15, 16 and you're like what. I mean I knew I had some tall people in my year back when we were in middle school, but that was like maybe one or two. It wasn't like a whole group of us that looked like we could pass for high schoolers, maybe even college students. But I still love The Prince of Tennis. It's so good. Especially if you're a huge tennis fan, you'll love this anime. Next is Tokyo Revengers. I know a lot of people fell off on this after the first season. I really do enjoy the first season. I did enjoy the second season too, and even the third season. I do hate that it looks like Disney aren't going to dub the third season because of whatever happens in the third season. It's like, come on. I mean, there was already like worse things that were happening in the previous two seasons. How is now whatever's happening in the third season, y'all want to draw the line? Like, come on now. But I do enjoy it. I do hope that maybe they continue on the story. I heard the manga is supposed to be like really ramping up for what the last arc of the anime covered. So I am interested in seeing that. Next is Twin Star Exorcist. Oh, this is another one. Whoops. I mean, I guess that's fine. Because the anime was good. I did enjoy the anime, but this is another one of those where the anime ended and where the manga continues, it's just so much better. The manga is so good, and there's so much more that happened. So many things that were changed in the anime from the manga. Like there's so much of a difference that it's basically like two different shows, which is weird because the series of Twin Star Exorcist is a good couple of episodes. It's not like it's 12 or 24. If I'm remembering correctly, it's like 52 episodes. But I guess maybe they wanted to do like an anime original story for it. I mean, it did kind of follow the manga up to a certain point, and then things started to change. Certain battles were way sooner than we thought. Uh, Certain things happened to other characters that didn't happen in the anime. So I guess you could say after some point they just decided to do their own like an anime only contact. But yeah, anime was good. Manga way better in my opinion. Next is Tomogachi game. Oh, that's another one. Same thing. Anime good. Where the anime ended and the manga continues, so much. So much more gets revealed. We get so many more like looks into the main characters. Um, More of the secrets that's being revealed. It's just I wish they continued the story. Continued on with the season two. I don't think. I mean, I haven't heard anything about them doing a season two of this. I wish they did. That was so good. OG Trigun. I do need to watch the new one, but OG Trigun was really amazing. So good. Uh, can't really say anything. The English dub for this is really good, funny as well, but not really much. Euro Yasura. Basically, this is the remake version. I would say this is pretty funny. I know a lot of people have a little kind of gripes about it because it's kind of following the main storyline, which of course the manga was created years ago. So a lot of the themes, a lot of the things that they happen aren't really relevant or things that kind of happen, now in 2024. But I enjoyed the first season because I've watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season of this yet, but I mean, I enjoyed. I love the updated art style for all the characters. I do know that her, because she also created, if I'm remembering correctly, she created one and one half Inuyasha. It's just funny that a lot of her older works are now coming back with like remakes or remasters. So next is Saint Seiya. I did enjoy Saint Seiya. I know a lot of people probably gonna get on me for this, but I really did enjoy the Netflix version, kind of the 3D one. Um, Only because this is kind of controversial. I know one of the characters, the one with the green hair, this is supposed to be a boy in the OG, but in the I guess you could say like remake Netflix version that they did, they made the one that kind of looks like a girl into an actual girl. So I don't know. Maybe I just felt more related to that one because they made one of the characters a girl and made it one of the main characters. So, she was going along with, the main cast, holding her own. But the OG Saint Seiya is still really good. Very gruesome, actually. There's a lot more like blood and whatnot that happens in the OG Saint Seiya. I mean, this is a pretty older anime. So, but it's still pretty good. I know they brought it back with a whole new dub. So I think that's kind of like what reamped Saint Seiya, but OG one still good, and I think it's on Netflix still. The like new dub that they did for the old one. Next is the remake of Shaman King. The one that came out in it said 2021, which is crazy. I was like, wow, that was that long ago this came out. But yeah, I would say it's still good. I really enjoyed the remake of Shaman King. Kind of seeing how the story was supposed to go, how it was supposed to end. I know as soon as this was done, they announced the Shaman King Flowers, which is basically the sequel manga that follows the adventures of the characters, as they're older with kids, following their kids' adventures and what new challenges they have to go through. Which I've heard is actually pretty good too. So I don't hate the remake like some people do. But I do enjoy it and I do love, getting kind of like the full story how it was supposed to. And I did like the new updated anime style. It's still pretty good. Next is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. This is one of the ones I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Up to a certain point. I would say I watched OG, I watched GX, I watched 5Ds. Next would be Zexal, right? Zexal. Then there's, what am I blanking? There's X5, right? And then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, and now there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, I believe. At least like kind of dub. I know there's another one like Yu-Gi-Oh! Something that kind of more incorporates like aliens, I believe, which is kind of odd, but whatever. But yeah, I watched the first like three religiously: Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, and Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. I know a lot of people got on 5Ds because it was motorcycles with dual monsters, but I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people did, especially for I guess for at that time it was a bit more mature and darker than the previous seasons that we got. Um, I would say that around the time I did fall off was around the time Zexal happened. I've watched a good portion of Zexal. I didn't hate it, but I didn't have the same passion to watch it like I did the other three series. Then I've seen a bit of Arc 5, here and there, and I did watch a bit of Reigns as well. And then I've seen like a few episodes of Sevens, and that's about it. So yeah, you can kind of see that my interest in Yu-Gi-Oh kind of died out. I mean, of course, by that time, I'm getting older. I don't really watch. They started creating Yu-Gi-Oh more. I mean, around for the demographic it's supposed to be, for kids. But I just know sometimes I do jump in every once in a while just to see what the new Yu-Gi-Oh looks like, what their new rules are, and it kind of looks like they're just going back to. I mean, they are implicating like new rules, but it just looks like they're just going back and doing their kind of going back to the original rules, kind of, but still. But I love GX. GX was such a good story. And since it's here, well, since I see it, I figured let's just do that. My favorite and will always be the original Yu-Gi-Oh. Original Yu-Gi-Oh is just hits different. And are you also R.I.P. for the creator of OG Yu-Gi-Oh, who passed away a couple of years ago. When you hear about how he passed away, it just makes you appreciate the series that much more, because it was just like you could tell like he was just a really good person and passed away doing what he believed was right. Let's see next. Oh, welcome to Demon School, Aruma-kun or Kun. I'll say, cause I've seen all three seasons. I don't know when they're gonna do a season 4, but I would say yeah, it's pretty good. I did enjoy it. I do love going through the story of this kid whose parents sold him off to a demon. He thinks he's about to live an even worse life than he already did after being exploited by his parents all his life. But instead, the demon takes him in, pampers him, spoils him because he wanted to know what it was like to have a grandchild, but I guess didn't want to go the whole thing of having a son or daughter and waiting from them to have kids to have a grandchild. So he figured I'll just get a grandchild of my own, and just his adventures of him being in the demon world, trying to survive, but at the same time him kind of growing popular and being accepted into this world compared to how he was treated back in his world. So it just sees that him creating these bonds with these people, but at the same time really scared at this point, especially around the third season, about how what happened if they changed after finding out who he really is. But it's really good. I do enjoy it. It's really nice. Next is Zatch Bell. I know this is probably a like hit or miss for people, but I loved Zatch Bell when it came out. And apparently there's supposed to be like some type of sequel manga that's been going on where the characters come back and they're a lot older. Not just the wielders of the books, but as the Motos, I think they were called. They're a lot older now, a lot more like powerful than they were at the end of the series. I haven't read it myself, but I've seen like cover arts of what the some of the panels look and how some of the characters look now. It is so good. and it just brought me back on when I originally watched Zatch Bell back in the day. It's been so long, I would have to rewatch that. But I know I vividly watched this, like to beginning to end, and it was just really good. And then, of course, didn't hear anything for years later, but now apparently there's a sequel manga that's going around that's pretty much getting pretty popular. So maybe that will push them to do set another season. Uh, kind of like not a time skip, but basically like maybe it's been like 2 or 3 years, maybe even longer. I don't know how long it's supposed to be a gap between the OG story and now, but it's been such years now since the final battle, but now something happens and they are now entering our world again and they need help from their previous wielders. And I don't know the brain premise of what's going on, but it looks cool and I love just seeing these characters come back and they're so different from what we remember them. Next, Kame ga Kill. um this is another one that's really good again, but the manga where the anime and the manga ended. And I know there's so many like anime videos of people saying that this needs to have like a remake or remaster or reboot of them doing the story over again from beginning to end, following the manga faithfully. Because as someone who watched the anime, was totally fine with that, saw that the manga was still ongoing and read it, I was like, oh yeah, I totally understand what they mean. There were still like so many like major fights, so many things that changed between the anime and the manga that and then how the ending happens was so different. It just I totally agree. I would love if they brought this back and just redid it from beginning to end, cover to cover, how the manga did it. Cause that'd be so good. Oh, excuse me. All right, we got four more. Next, Attack on Titan. Yeah. As someone who's not a huge horror fan, I don't know why, but after watching the first season of Attack on Titan, I was just hooked. After that, whenever the season came out, I finished it. I myself have not finished the final season. I don't know why. I was pushing it off until it was done, only because they kept doing what they did with the previous season and kept splitting it into parts. And then you'd finish one part, then you gotta wait like a month, maybe even to a year for the next part. Then they did it again, and then they split into parts. And then like the final wrap up supposed to be like a movie or two. I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna wait for y'all to finish. Luckily, I didn't get spoiled on anything, so I just need to binge the final season just to see like what happens, how it ended, and what the conclusion was. As someone, and I've heard I know a lot of people had mixed feelings for the manga ending, but what I've heard that they changed it in the anime, and a lot of people were okay with the anime ending. So I am interested in seeing as someone who's never read the manga, I'm interested in seeing what this ending is that people were okay with. 'Cause I know a lot of people did not like the original ending for Attack on Titan, and then I think the creator came back and created like an alternative ending. So I'm not sure if they used that or if they did like their own ending in the anime. But well, I guess I'll see eventually. Next, Death Note. Oh my god, I talked about this before, but there's this not a VTuber, there's this YouTuber I watch, who does videos where he'll discuss certain characters, whether there are actually maybe I can pull it up real quick, give him a bit of a shout out. Let me go here. CJ the champ. Yeah. Okay, let me pull it up. Yeah, so this is one of the ones he just did about 2 weeks ago, where he did one on a Light Yagami. Basically, he goes through and he'll discuss like pretty badass popular characters. I forget. I think one of the ones I originally saw him do was his Black Force Energy videos of him discussing certain characters and bringing them into his roundtable. Um, After that, I was just hooked. And any video he's posted, I've always watched it the day it's posted, cause it's so interesting seeing how him talking about certain characters, and some of the things they did, especially if maybe it's in an anime you haven't seen in a long while, especially for like Death Note when he went through this, and me remembering, I was just like, oh my god, yeah, this happened in this, and then certain characters like this, like Doflamingo. Of course, as someone who's never watched One Piece, watched this video and just like, dang, this guy was crazy. Then he did like a Sukuna one. That's his first one. Another Black Air Force Energy one. Uh, he like his videos are very interesting. So he did one recently on Death Note, and just listening to that made me um remember everything about Death Note, and actually kind of makes me almost want to rewatch the anime again. But it's just one of those very iconic classics that's just so good. I know a lot of people had a bit of a fallout because of what happened with L, which I do kind of get, because just that whole dynamic between Light and L, which is very something you don't really get that much in certain animes, of basically having two rivals who are on the same wavelength mentally, but one, of course, you see is going towards the dark side with his skills, while the other one is using it for good. Kind of like the whole Sherlock Holmes or Moriarty or Arsene Lupin, like that type of dynamic. It's just really interesting. It's just so cool whenever we get characters like that. Also, check out C the Champ. His videos are really funny, and just especially if it's been an anime you haven't watched in a while, just doing that kind of gives you nostalgia and makes you want to rewatch certain animes again. Next is Future Diaries. I would say, yeah, it's pretty good. I totally enjoyed it when I watched it when it came out, but it's been so long. I not saying I don't remember what happens, but it's been so long that I know certain events I know I don't remember clearly, but I remember watching it very religiously when it came out. I even watched like the special that kind of happened to kind of wrap up the story, and it's just interesting. Definitely one of those like mystery animes that just keeps you on your toes. You never know what's gonna happen, and you think you know what's gonna happen, but then something else comes up, and that totally just spins your head. And ooh, then our last one, Food Wars. One, you cannot watch this and not get hungry because this anime will make you crave food like you've never believed. One, it is one of those very etchy animes, which kind of makes you wonder, like, how did this get past the okay mark? Like, what the hell? But the food they make on that food, the way they describe it, it's like, oh my god, I need someone who can recreate those foods so I could try it myself. There's actually a few reaction channels that I watch. One vividly where they'll sometimes try to recreate the food from the show, and sometimes it looks exactly like it, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I was there to try that food, because that looks amazing. Like, come on, who wouldn't want to go to a place where they're recreating iconic anime foods from certain shows? Like, that is just too much. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Didn't really put anything in trash, but like I said, if I had stopped watching Boruto in the beginning, I would definitely have put it there. But I would definitely say it's more acceptable now, maybe. It's still nowhere in the league of like OG Naruto or Naruto Shippuden. But I definitely would say Boruto definitely got better in later episodes and arcs. So didn't really put anything in trash. Got a few haven't watched, a few that I don't remember, and then just some average, fine, good, very good, and just my overall excellent animes. So let's save. Do, 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 do. This is our shonen. And I know there's so many other shonens that probably I didn't add and weren't on this list to begin with. I guess I'm just downloading. I don't know why it's not letting me save it, but that's fine. Maybe because I added stuff, which would be weird, but whatever. But yeah. Speaking of which, actually, let me see if maybe I can go back to that shonen list I found on my anime list and see if there's any other ones I can pull up where. That's not what I was. Where'd it go? Oh, wait, was it on this or was it on something else? I think it might have been on one of my other ones. So let me exit that and put Shounen Anime. God dang it. Yeah, so if you go to my anime list, they're just, they'll list a few, and a few ones that I don't remember ever being shonen, but I know a lot of people have the mindset of shonen has to be like action pack or thriller or something else. But there are a few other ones that aren't anything like that that fall under the shonen uh genre. So there's a few that I mentioned here, like Attack on Titan, Death Note, Full Metal, Demon Slayer, My Hero, Naruto, the OG ones. Or like a silent voice. I didn't think that was shonen, but shonen does mean what we don't believe it to be. I thought that would give me a description for that, but whatever. Your Lie in April, Noragami, Kami Got Killed, Seven Deadly Sins, Assassin Titan, Promise Neverland, Doctor Stone. Of course, whenever that new season come out, that becomes its own thing. So you'll see like multiple Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, My Hero, uh, JoJo, Black Clover, Food Wars, Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family, Kakaguri. This is the OG Full Metal. The time I got reincarnated as a slime. Haikyuu, Horimiya. Devilman Crybaby, Nisekoi, Black Butler. There's some other ones. Oh, the quintessential. Why can I speak? The quintessential quintuplets. I did enjoy this anime. I did think it was pretty interesting. The premise of basically this guy gets kind of quote unquote forced to tutor these four sis. Well, wait, one, two, three, four, five, five. These five sisters. And then of course, at the beginning, we know that he ends up marrying one of them. So kind of seeing like which one of them falls for him and which one he ends up choosing in the end. Ancient Magus Bride. I do need to go back and rewatch the first season, especially that I know there's a second season out. But I watched the first season a while ago, like around the time it came out, and then I kept saying I was gonna rewatch it around the time the second season was gonna be announced, and I never did. So I do need to watch that. Yeah, look at that. Look how low the Promised Neverland season 2 was compared to the first one. We passed the first one, didn't we? I think we did. Did we not? Yep. Look at that. First one is an 8.4. And the second one's a 5.7. That's how much of the ball they dropped on that second season. Because I heard they just went. Like, it looked like they were going to follow the main story and just totally cut out so many things. And to the point, like, it was basically a whole story. And in the ending was just totally different. Comey can't communicate to your eternity. Beastars. Trinity 7. Great Teacher Onizuka. What the hell? What is that? Elite. I don't know what that is. Thought I clicked on that. There we go. Just use some other ones. Trigun. Domestic Girlfriend. Over the Moon for You. Tsundere Children. Hell's Paradise. I actually do need to watch this. That's another one I've been forgetting to watch. Been putting it off for some reason, but been forgetting. But I've heard this is really good too. Rosary plus Vampire. Rebirth or Hitman Rebirth. I need to watch this. I need to find where it is. Look how high up it is. It's a freaking 8.12. But then I can't find it anywhere to watch, and it drives me nuts. Okay, so okay, so I was right. It was like part 6. Part 6, Stone Ocean. This was the last JoJo anime that's been animated so far. I know there's like I don't even remember how many parts up there are. I think they're up to like maybe 8 or 9. So there's like a bunch of parts that still haven't been animated yet. If it ever will be. I mean, I think it will, because JoJo's such a huge fan base, such a huge anime. It'd be crazy if after them doing 6 parts of this, they just stop. So, I mean, I definitely could see them doing another, like continuing on the trend of doing the parts. Um. I think that's about it. I mean, at least for now. I mean, I know this list is huge. There's probably so many other animes that follows under the premise of shonen. But I think that's about it. And plus, it's like 1 for me. And I had quite an eventful day. So, let's go here. Yeah, I don't have to go back. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll fix the waiting rooms for the Sword Art Online and the podcast episode. Because I don't know why on YouTube I was trying to make a VOD for this. And for some reason kept connecting to the other ones I've already created. So now I need to go back and delete those and then redo it over again with the waiting room. But thank you for everyone who came. Thank you, of course. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll play a quick game of, something maybe that's not on the list. Or maybe just a chill game, or I mean, I don't think I can do it, because I still do need to watch the Sailor Moon Cosmic movie, but I know there's no way YouTube or Twitch will let me watch it without the video getting flagged for copyright. I am trying to work on that, on a way to like record myself watching it, and then putting it up on my YouTube as like a react video. I just gotta find a way to do that to where the video won't get copyright strike. But that's about it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow with whatever I plan on doing. Alright, hope everyone has a great night, and get some, whoops, hey, but it's still connected to that, and everyone has a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!